2023. That's right, 2023. It's almost over with. It's December. We got one more month. As of today, it's December 1st, and we got one more month to finish off 2023 strong. And going into this last month, I feel like it's important to do a little bit of a recap of this year, because we're almost there, man. Month's going to go by fast, and before you know it, it's going to be the new year. And so 2023 for me was a good year. It was a good year. It was a year where I learned a lot. I could say it was good and bad, and there's good and bad that happens every year. It's just the nature of life. Nothing is always going to be good. But 2023 overall, the results I got this year, what I learned, I got to say it's more valuable than what I got out of any other year. And this was the year I feel that I really took it, I really gained perspective. I'm trying to think of words here. Perspective of my own life, where I stand, how the results of my life are a result of me and how I live my life, but also being grateful for what I have now and not trying to compare myself so much to others, which is sometimes a challenge that I face. I think we all face it every now and then. But comparing myself to where I was in the past, this is the year that I feel like I've really started to hone that in and make progress in my own life with the things that I do and the things that and how I'll go about life, how I carry myself. This is the year where I feel like I changed that. And I'm not here to pat myself on the back or anything, but I'm just trying to do a recap here. Because going into 2024, doing this helps me figure out what I want for the next year. And so right here, I made a list. I have a list of 6 things I'm grateful for and 10 things that I learned in 2023. So let's jump into it. One thing that I realized, I was actually just recording before this, is that I tend to drone on way too long in these videos. I need to get better at getting to the point. So let's jump right into it, man. So 6 things that I'm grateful for. Number 1 is family and friends. If you really think about it, there is nobody that cares about you or loves you more than your family. There really is not. And your good friends, But really your family. Your mom and your dad. Your brothers and your sisters. This is super important. And you got to be grateful that they're here. And you need to do everything in your power to maintain good relationships with them, keep in touch with them, and just be happy that they're here, because there's going to be a day where they're not. There's going to come a day that your parents are going to die. And they're not going to be here anymore. And so you got to cherish the moments that you have with them, particularly as you get older, man. Once you get to be an adult and you get out there in the world and you start doing your thing, and your parents, you kind of go off and whatever, you're not going to see them as much unless you stay where you lived, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But be grateful for your family and be grateful for your friends, your close friends, who are almost like family. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the gym. I really took it seriously this year to get in shape in the gym, to get big. And I've been lifting for 2 years. Started lifting consistently 2021. But I didn't really progress that much. I mean, I got stronger, but I didn't really get bigger. I got kind of bigger, but I wasn't like eating enough calories or tracking my protein or really tracking my lifts. Some of that stuff I still have to hone in. But this is the year that I really tracked that, like how much I was eating and then how much I was lifting. And I put on some muscle this year for sure. So this is the first year that I really gained progress, and I'm proud of it. I'm happy that I did that. And the gym is such a great place. Obviously, it depends on the gym that you go to. Some gyms are a little corporate, and they're big, and they're crowded, and it doesn't really feel like there's a community there. I go to this gym back home, and you know, I've met some great guys there. I have 2 really good friends back home that I both met at that gym. And there's a bunch of other great guys that go there that I kind of know, who are just more people that I chit-chat with or who are acquaintances. But the gym, man, the gym has done wonders for my mental health. Wonders for just everything. You go in, you get a good pump, even on a day that you don't feel like it, and you feel absolutely fantastic afterwards. So the gym. Number 3, High Thumos Men's Group. This is Elijah Long's men's group. If you don't know who Elijah Long is, he's got a YouTube channel. Pretty big one too, like 130,000 subscribers. And I joined this group early 2022. I haven't been the most active in there, but I've been in there. And I've gotten to know some of the guys. And I've gotten to meet and make a really good friend from that group who lives here in my local area. His name's Jay. Great guy. Shout out to him. Shout out to you, Jay. There's another guy here too in my area that I'm going to meet eventually, just when school and work settle down. But the High Thumos Men's Group is great, man. It's no bullshit. It's not this weird gimmicky self-improvement stuff. It's just a bunch of guys in there on their mission, on their purpose, who give you no bullshit, good advice. And yeah, even though I'm not in there most of the time, the fact that I have that in my pocket because it's on my phone, it's like a tool that I can use when I need it. And it's always there, which is great. And there's some great entertainment in there for sure. Dudes posting funny shit, you know, just great comedy out of some of the stuff in that group. So yeah. Number 4, school, work, and opportunities. You know, life can get hard at times. You may not like where you're at, but you got to be grateful for what you have and what you have going on for yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but there's always going to be somebody out there who has it worse and who will give an arm and a leg to have what you have. And it's true. You know, I may get caught up in my own head about, you know, oh, it's a busy week or this or that, but really at the end of the day, I have it pretty damn good. I have a roof over my head. I have food in the fridge. I have school that I go to where I'm learning good skills. I have a good job where I make good money. I work with cool people. And with that comes great opportunities. So I'm grateful for that too, because it just opens so many doors that can lead to so many great things. You have a lot in your life already that is great. And if you don't, go out there and make it happen. Number 5, my car. Just simple, my car. I love my car. I'm just happy that I have a car, and it's a good car. It's 10 years old. It's held up in good shape. I've made sure to take care of it and give it an oil change when it needs an oil change, or take care of it when something's wrong with the, you know, with whatever. It's got a great stereo in it too. It's a fucking good car, and really happy I have that car because it pretty much gets me most places I go. Number 6 is good music. I used to collect a lot of vinyl records. I'd like to get into it again, but with school and what I have going on right now, it just doesn't really fit into my life. But I got a huge record collection right here where I'm pointing. And, you know, when I started collecting records, I really got into music. And I mean, like, so many different kinds of music. Discovered so many different kinds of bands and artists, and started listening to music that I never thought I would even listen to or like. And then I came around to love it. And since I've loved and learned to like that music, life has been a lot more interesting. Gives me variety, gives me more to talk about and relate to others on. So great music, man. Makes life good. This is going to be a longer video as we're going into the next list. So 10 things that I learned this year. 10 things that I learned. Number 1, you must follow through. Whatever it is that you set out to do in life, if you go in with the intention of finishing it and completing it, you have to finish it. Because if you pull out, this sets a negative trend for your life. It does. Now, obviously, there's times where you have to quit. There's times where, finishing something that you're doing, it may not be the probable outcome, but most of the time it is. And if it is, you need to do it. You got to finish. And you know what? I mean, I'm not going to go on about it in this video because this is already long enough as it is, but it didn't finish something this year that if I didn't finish, that would have been a tragedy. So, thanks for that advice. Consistency, number 2. Consistency is key. You can't expect any growth with spontaneous motivation. Consistency, man. What sets those that are not successful apart from those that are is consistency and discipline. You're not going to feel like doing whatever it is that you're doing every day. Whether that's the gym, going to work, school, or building a business, playing an instrument, learning an instrument, anything, man. There's going to be days you're feeling down in the dumps and you're tired and you're not going to really have an interest in doing it. It's those days that matter the most, because it's those days that are there to test you and to see that if you're actually capable of being successful and doing things when it gets hard. Because no matter what it is, man, you're going to set out, you're going to do something. It's going to be great at first because it's novel. And then, comes the mundane aspects of that thing. Whether it's a job, a new place you move to, whatever, that's just life. Life is going to be like that sometimes. So consistency and discipline are key to any success in life. Number 3, God rewards those who try. God rewards those who try. I don't believe that if you just sit around and, you're lazy, but you believe in God, that God likes that. I think God actually despises that. God likes those who try. God likes those that put in effort. If you're not putting in any effort, you're not going to be rewarded with anything. So God rewards those who try. Try. You have to try. You have to try for what you want, whether it's applying to jobs, asking that girl out, taking a big risk, whatever that is. We can go on and on about what those risks can be. God rewards those who try. So you've got to try. You got to try. And if you try and, you mess up and you have trial and error, you know what? Through all that, you're going to learn a lot. And with that is going to come great rewards. All right? So number 4, you are where you're supposed to be. This is one thing I learned, but you are where you're supposed to be in life right now. If you're doing the right thing, if you're in school, if you're living in a place, maybe you don't feel like it's working out, but you set out to do this thing, you know what? You are where you're supposed to be. Even if the temptations to do something else and go somewhere else are really strong. You are where you're supposed to be. It's not going to be forever. Time's going to pass. As long as you just do your job and put your head down and get done what you got to get done, that opens doors to the next chapter in your life. There is a plan for your life. All right, what you set out to do will unfold and things will start to make sense over time. So yeah, you are where you're supposed to be. Just trust the process. Number 5, nothing will change unless you change. This is big, and this has been said many, many, many times by many, many different people to many, many different people. But this is just how it is, man. Nothing's going to change in your life unless you change. If you're still living the same way, doing the same things, having the same habits, eating the same shit food, thinking the same way, but you want something different, well, you have to change to get that different thing. You want, let's just put it out there. You want more girls in your life. You want more women. You want to go on more dates. Well, then you have to go out there, scoop your nuts, and just ask more girls out. Talk to more girls. Make your intentions clear. If you never do that, you're never going to get any girls, dude. You're never going to have a girlfriend. You're going to sit around wondering. And yes, the women do come, but you have to try. Put yourself in environments where they are. All right, it's not just girls. It's everything. It's everything in life. So number 5, yeah, nothing will change unless you change. You got to change. Your habits got to change. Number 6, learn from your past, but don't live in it. I've had a tendency to be defined by who I was and what I was doing in the past and feeling upset about it. But this is just something to learn from and not live in, because you aren't there anymore. You know, you've moved on from that. And we've all been places in life where we look back and we cringe, right? Where we go, man, that could have been, I could have done this, I could have been X, Y, or Z, you know, that could have been so much better, but you have to just learn. And perhaps that thing in your past, or where you were in your past, had to happen, and you had to be there in order to learn from that, to be where you are now. And so just learn from your past, man. Don't fuss about it, man. Nobody knows your past. And even some of the people that were in your past, who you think of you a certain way or thought of you a certain way, they're probably not going to remember any of that shit anyways. You know, like who you were in high school, or the cringe shit you did, or that awkward phase you went through, you know, in the past, during that, you know, time in your life, like high school. They're probably not going to remember, dude, because you know what? They're probably in a similar frame of mind themselves. So always learn from your past, but don't live in it, man. Move forward. Number 7, being busy solves 90% of your issues. I've found that the less busy I am and the more free time I have, the more I don't know what to do with myself. I have to have structure. I have to have stuff going on. My free time, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad with having some free time. You need some free time. You need time to chill. But it's not going to do you any good when you don't have anything going on. And the days, they just go by, and you have no structure to follow. You're going to get in your head. You're going to think you have all these issues. And I realize that these things only pop up when I have the time to sit there and be in my head. When you don't, and you have to get out there and be in the real world and be amongst people and interact with others and do things, you know, you don't have time to be in your head. And you realize that a lot of your problems come from just being by yourself, being alone, and not being busy enough. Not being busy enough. It all comes from that, in my opinion. I think it all does. So be busy, man, and have structure to your day. Have structures to your week. Have goals to set for yourself. All right, number 8, scooping your nuts and not being a bitch is the only real solution. Scoop your nuts. Scoop your nuts, man. Take the initiative. Go in and apply. Go ask the girl out. Go talk to her. You know, yeah, you might be nervous, but you know what? It's okay. We're all nervous. Everybody gets nervous, man. All right, that girl you're talking to, she's probably really nervous herself. You're going to be nervous, man. There's never not going to be a time, particularly with something that you've never done before, where you're not going to feel some level of anxiety before and while doing it. But the only way to overcome that is to do it. No amount of YouTube videos, no amount of, you know, things online that you buy, like these courses, is going to help you with that. Like just going out there into the world and just seeing for yourself, which to me is what scooping your nuts is all about. So scoop your fucking nuts, all right? Don't actually scoop your nuts, but you get what I'm saying, all right? Number 9, you have the answers within you. The answers to your problems, you have them within you. A lot of us do, but we don't trust ourselves because we haven't put ourselves out there. We know what we need to do, but we're too afraid to do it because it requires us to be uncomfortable. So we go to YouTube and we go to, you know, all these different things, these books, these self-help books, these webinars, seminars, all this stuff, to figure out what the true problem, what the answer is to my problem. You have most of the answers. It's just that it requires you to be uncomfortable. All right? You don't have a lot of the things that you have in your life that you want because you're afraid and you're scared. And you need to face that fear, and you need to just go out there and do it. You have it within you, particularly if you've watched all these self-improvement videos and all this stuff. You have it within you. You do. You've watched all this, so you know what you need to do, and you know what you shouldn't do. So if you know that, then do it. Through that process, you'll learn. So yes, we have the answers within us most of the time. Not all the answers, don't get me wrong, but we have a lot of the answers within us. So don't become some asshole, some guy that just asks all the time, even though he knows what to do. Fucking do it. Fucking do it, all right? Number 10, last and not least. Number 10, the people that you surround yourself with matter immensely when it comes to your success, and community is most important. Kind of a double point, but let's finish off on that. The people that you surround yourself with, your friends. A lot of our friends, whether it's now or it was in the past, weren't really the people that we should have been hanging out with. And it's not to say that those friends were bad people or that we should defriend them and all that. No, but you become who you spend your time with. You do. It's a fact. And I used to think that you could somehow work your way around this, but you do. If your friend group is surrounded with guys who don't really have a lot going on, who are just kind of moseying their way through life, not doing much, and you hang out with them, you're going to be like one of them. Slowly over time. You're going to take on their habits. You're going to take on their worldview. You're going to justify to yourself all these things that you shouldn't be justifying to yourself because they justify it to themselves. So you need to be around people. If you want to have good results in life, you got to be around people who are getting the results that you want. And these other friends that you have, these loser friends, you don't have to completely defriend these people if you don't want. I don't think a lot of the time you should. But you got to expand your social circle. You do. You got to expand it, man. You can't just be hanging out with these guys. If these guys aren't really giving you, what you want out of a social life. You got to expand. You got to meet more people. And that is a huge thing. And that's something I lacked for so long. And I'm still working on it. I've gotten better at it, but I'm still working on that. But for a long time, I did not have really any good friends at all. I had a couple friends that I was close with, but honestly, when it came to what I wanted, I felt like I was on my own most of the time. And I found it really hard to stay consistent and stay disciplined on things that I wanted to do because I was alone. Because there was nobody there that had already gotten those results to hold me accountable and to show me some ways, in doing these things that would have really helped and benefited me. So I'm going through that now. I'm learning this stuff now with the people that I have in my life now. But early on, I didn't have anybody, My friend group was always small. It was always just a few guys, and, they were kind of more the nerdy types. The types that didn't work out. They just played video games all the time. And I hung out with guys like that only because I was insecure in myself. I felt like I was kind of one of those guys because I felt like I didn't really fit in with the popular kids or the jocks, the ones who played sports and, had all the girls like them. I always felt like I was less than them, which was all in my head. But that's what I felt like back then. And so, but then, in my own life, as I was trying to go through and improve and do all these things, I, was having a really hard time and realized that you need other people who are doing a similar thing to you. That's what's going to really take you far. You know, it's not, you can't just grind it out alone. Which brings it to the second point of that one point, is that community is the most important. You got to have a community and a brotherhood. You got to have other people in your life, man. What do you improve for at the end of the day? Do you improve just for yourself? Do you really just improve for yourself? Be honest here. And the answer that I can come up with here is you really don't. Your improvement is for others. Your improvement is for the service of others. If there was nobody else in the world and you're just one man living here, why would you improve? Why would you do anything? You know? And a lot of people are living their lives like that. They have nobody in their life, but they're trying to improve. They're trying to be better. They're trying to be, you know, all these things, but they don't have really any friends or any community of people that they should be better for. They're just trying to grind it out alone. And what are they finding? They're finding that it's really hard. They're finding that it's hard to stay motivated, disciplined, because, you know, there's just nobody else there with you. Happiness is only real when shared. And I think I'm going to leave it off at that. Get out there and make it happen. And so going into 2024, you know, I'm going to learn from all those points. And I'm going to get the results that I want next year by learning what I learned this year. And so that's what this is all about. God bless and take care. Amen.